Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into something super exciting for all you Bleach fans. The highly anticipated BLEACH Rebirth of Souls game has finally arrived, and it's bringing a whole new level of chaos to the battlefield with 33 playable characters. That's right, 33. Now, with so many options, it can be a real challenge figuring out which character to main. Some of them are absolute powerhouses, while others might leave you feeling a little underwhelmed. But don't worry, because we've got you covered. In this video, we'll be breaking down all the characters and ranking them in a comprehensive tier list to help you figure out who's worth mastering and who might need a little more time in the training room. We know that with so many characters, it's easy to get lost in the mix. Whether you're looking for someone with insane combos, high damage output, or just an overall solid moveset, picking the right character can make or break your game experience. So, grab your controller and let's get into it. We'll walk you through the best of the best, the hidden gems, and maybe even a few surprises along the way. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll have a much clearer idea of which character is going to be your new main. Let's get started. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking characters in BLEACH Rebirth of Souls. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Kaname Tosen, Rangiku Matsumoto, Ichigo Kurosaki Base, and Izuru Kira. Alright, let's dive right into the characters that, well, don't quite live up to the hype in BLEACH Rebirth of Souls. These guys aren't necessarily bad, but they're certainly not the ones you want to pick when you're looking to dominate the battlefield. So let's break it down. First up, we have Kaname Tosen, the Soul Reaper, with a unique moveset that might catch some players off guard. On paper, his abilities look pretty cool, especially after his evolution. The thing is, Tosen is super tough to use. Seriously, even with his Bankai, it's like trying to drive a sports car but with square wheels. His signature moves are hard to land, and even when you do hit them, they don't pack that punch you'd expect. It's a real love-hate relationship. So, if you're not careful, you'll find yourself looking more like a punching bag than a fighter. Next, we've got Rangiku Matsumoto. Now don't get me wrong, Rangiku's a solid pick for anyone who wants a balanced mix of close and ranged attacks. But that's the thing, she's decent at best. Her moveset is functional, nothing too flashy, but the real problem comes with her signature moves. They're pretty weak and, honestly, very easy to dodge. Her evolution doesn't offer much of a boost either, leaving her in a bit of a weird spot. She's not awful, but she's definitely outclassed by a lot of the stronger characters in the game. Now, I know some of you are big Ichigo Kurosaki fans, but let's talk about his Lucena form. Ichigo's got good speed, and his attack combos are solid enough to keep up with the competition. But once he evolves, well, that's where things get a bit messy. He loses a lot of his range capabilities, which really hurts his versatility. Sure, he's easy to use, and for a casual player, he's pretty fun. But when you start comparing him to the heavy hitters, he starts to feel a bit lackluster. And then there's Izuru Kira. To be honest, Kira's a character that I wanted to like more. His skill set isn't terrible, but it's definitely subpar compared to others. The real kicker, his evolution is weak. Like, it barely does anything to improve his performance, and those combos, forget it. They're tough to pull off and super easy to interrupt. If you're not a pro at timing, you'll probably end up eating a lot of damage instead of dishing it out. So yeah, we've got a handful of characters that just don't really shine in Rebirth of Souls. But hey, that's part of the fun, right? Experimenting with different characters and finding who clicks for you. Maybe you'll get lucky and turn one of these underdogs into a powerhouse. But if you're looking for some serious competitive play, you might want to skip these guys and look for something with a little more oomph. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. Sure, these characters have their downsides, but that doesn't mean they're completely useless. If you're a fan of the series or just love experimenting with different styles, you can still find ways to make these characters work for you. Just be prepared for a bit of a challenge. But if you're looking for something with a little more power and less frustration, there are definitely better choices. Characters with stronger evolutions, more powerful moves, and, honestly, a better chance at success in competitive matches. Because, at the end of the day, Rebirth of Souls is all about having fun, but winning doesn't hurt either, right? So, while these characters may sit comfortably in the D tier for now, who knows? Maybe with a few updates or some clever strategy, they'll be able to surprise us all and make a comeback. Until then, I'd say it's better to look elsewhere if you want to seriously rack up those wins. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Keien Shiba, Zaela Poro Grands, Kisuke Urahara, Toshiro Hitsugiya, Shuhei Hisagi, and Tear Haribel. Alright, so now that we've covered some of the heavy hitters, let's talk about those characters who might not necessarily be at the top of the tier list, but still have their own charm and potential. These are the C tier characters in Bleach, Rebirth of Souls. They're like the underdogs you might not expect much from, but when you get the hang of them, they can surprise you. Let's break down who they are and why they could be a great pick for you. First up, we have Keien Shiba, the Soul Reaper who might not blow your mind in terms of evolution, but he's pretty solid overall. Kaien's got a decent skill set, and if you're someone who likes long range attacks, he's definitely got you covered. His moves are easy to use, and for most matchups, he holds his own. The downside, his evolution isn't exactly the strongest, and when he does evolve, it's kind of meh. But if you're just looking for a reliable all-rounder who's easy to master, Keien's your guy. Then we have Zaela Poro Grands, the Hollow, who has one of the most unique movesets in the game. He can dish out some serious damage with long-range combos, and if you land those hits, his evolution can be devastating. However, here's the catch, Zaela Poro is not the easiest to use. He's a bit tricky to master, and honestly, if you're new to the game, he might not be your first choice. But once you get the hang of him and learn to land those combos, he turns into a real powerhouse. Kisuke Urahara is up next, and if you've been playing for a while, you know this guy is no slouch. Urahara is a versatile Soul Reaper who can handle both close and long range combat like a pro. His moveset is pretty strong, and he's decently easy to use, which makes him great for most matchups. That said, his signature moves can be a bit of a hit or miss. They're powerful when they land, but if you can't land them, they don't do much. Still, with a little practice, Kisuke can become a solid character in your roster. Now, let's talk about Toshiro Hitsugiya, another Soul Reaper who falls into the C tier. He's got some solid signature moves, and his attacks are pretty good, especially after his evolution. The thing with Toshiro is that his power is pretty heavily dependent on his evolution, or should I say his Bankai. If you don't evolve him, he doesn't have that much punch, so if you're someone who loves evolving your characters and seeing them transform, Toshiro can definitely hold his own, but without it, he's just okay. Next, we've got Shuhei Hisagi, who might not have the flashiest moves, but he's got a lot of potential once you get the hang of him. His base attack is relatively high, which is nice, and his combos are decent as well. His evolution, pretty strong too, but his range skills? Yeah, they're not really anything to write home about. It's a bit tricky to get the most out of him, and you'll definitely need some practice to make him work, but when you do, he can definitely make an impact. Finally, we've got Tear Haribel, the Hollow, who might be a bit of a challenge for beginners. Her burst potential is insane, especially after she evolves, but she's not the easiest character to master. If you don't land her combos after evolution, you're probably going to feel like you're hitting a brick wall. But if you're a player who loves speed and high attack power, Tear Haribel can really be a powerhouse. It's all about getting that combo timing right, and once you do, she can tear through enemies in no time. So there you have it folks, the C tier characters in Bleach. Rebirth of Souls might not have the same overwhelming power as the A or S tier characters, but they've got their own strengths and can be just as fun to play. It's all about finding the one that fits your playstyle and giving them a chance to shine. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Soifon, Yasutora Sado, Rukia Kuchiki, Sajin Komamura, Ikaku Madarame, Mayuri Kurotsuchi, Nelio to Odell Schwank, and Shunsui Kyoraku. Alright, let's dive into the world of Bleach, Rebirth of Souls, and talk about some of the characters you'll find in the B tier. You know, those who are good but not quite OP. They've got their strengths and their weaknesses, and they're the kind of fighters you need to master to really make them shine. So let's break it down and see which B tier characters are worth your time. First up, we've got Soifon. If you're a fan of speed and precision, Soifon might just be your go-to. Her skill set is similar to Yoruichi's, so you know she's got that quick in and out playstyle. Her evolution lets her ramp up her power, and she can blitz opponents like no one's business when their guard's down. But here's the catch, she's got no ranged attacks, so once your opponent figures out how to dodge her, you might be in for a rough ride. Next, let's talk about Yasutora Sado, or Chad, for those who know him from the show. This guy is a powerhouse when it comes to raw damage output. His signature move hits like a truck, and overall, his DPS is insane. He's got a good mix of both ranged and close combat skills, so he's versatile. But the downside, his moves are easy to dodge. If you miss your shots, you're left wide open, and that can be a real problem against faster opponents. Now, Rukia Kuchiki is a character who's just solid. She's got a nice balance of ranged and close combat skills, making her a pretty easy character to pick up. Whether you're a beginner or just looking for someone with a smooth skill set, Rukia's got you covered. The downside though is that her evolution isn't the greatest, and she can easily get outclassed by stronger characters in the later stages. But hey, if you like consistency, Rukia's a reliable pick. Let's move on to Sajin Komamura, who's definitely got one of the most broken evolution of Bankai moves in the game. When he transforms, things get real scary. Even in his base form, he's decent, but once he evolves, he's a force to be reckoned with. His moveset is well-rounded, but honestly, his real strength comes from his evolution. Without it, he's just another solid fighter, but with it, a whole new beast. Ikaku Madarame is an interesting one. This guy's got one of the highest base attacks in the game, so if you're all about dealing that big damage right off the bat, Ikaku's your man. He's got good range and solid close combat attacks, and he can land some nice combos. The issue here is that his evolution isn't all that impressive, so you're really relying on his base form to do the heavy lifting. He's a little tough to use, but if you can master him, he's a beast. Mayuri Kurotsuchi is a bit of a wild card. He's got a unique skill set that blends both close and long range attacks, which gives him a lot of flexibility. His evolution isn't bad either, it's strong enough to make him a real threat. But here's the catch, his signature moves are easy to dodge. They don't pack the punch you'd expect, so if you're not careful, you'll find yourself whiffing a lot of attacks. Next, we have Nelio 2 Odelschwank, and let me tell you, she's a powerhouse. She's got a balanced skill set, but her real strength comes in her close range attacks. Once she evolves, her damage output goes through the roof. The only downside, she's not the most beginner-friendly character. Her moves can be tough to combo, and if you're not quick on the draw, you'll miss those high damage hits. Shunsui Kyoraku is another one of those characters who has a strong evolution and a solid skill set all around. His speed is on another level and he's got great blitz potential, especially in his base form. But if you've used his evolution before, you know it's not always the easiest to pull off. He's tough to use, but when you do manage to get those combos down, he can be a real game changer. Soifon, Chad, Rukia, Komamura, Ikaku, Mayuri, Nelliel, and Shunsui. Each one has their own unique playstyle, and it's all about finding what works for you. The B tier characters may not be the absolute top dogs, but they're definitely worth mastering. With the right strategy, they can absolutely hold their own against stronger opponents. So, if you're looking to spice up your roster with some fun, diverse characters, these guys are definitely worth a shot. And that's all for today's breakdown of the B tier characters in Bleach Rebirth of Souls. Don't forget, it's all about practice and finding that perfect combo. Who's your favorite B tier character? Let me know in the comments below. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Grimmjow Jägerjackes, Genryusai Yamamoto, Kenpachi Zaraki, Coyote Stark, Shinju Hirako, Uryu Ishida, Byakuya Kuchiki, Renji Abarai, and Gin Ichimaru. Alright folks, buckle up because today we're diving into the big leagues. Let's talk about some of the absolute A-tier characters in Bleach Rebirth of Souls. If you're serious about smashing your opponents, these characters are the ones you want to have in your roster. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on these powerhouses. First up, let's talk Grimmjow Jägerjackes. The dude's a beast, I mean fast as lightning and with a moveset that will have your enemies second guessing every step. What I love about him is the burst potential. Catch someone off guard and boom, you're dealing some serious damage. Plus, his ultimate, not too shabby, especially once you see that evolution kick in, it's pretty strong. Next we've got Genryusai Yamamoto. Now, this guy, he's the definition of balance. You get a solid mix of close and ranged attacks that let you play with a bit of everything. He can combo like a champ, and when he's awakened, watch out. His evolution makes him a near dominating force on the battlefield. Seriously, the damage potential is off the charts. Speaking of damage, Kenpachi Zaraki is here to show you how it's done. I'm talking some of the highest base damage you'll see in the game. Kenpachi doesn't mess around. His ultimate hits hard, and when he awakens, forget it. His power level spikes. Plus, he's one of those characters that's really easy to master. If you're looking for a straightforward, no-nonsense character that's still a powerhouse, Kenpachi's your guy. Now, let's get into the ranged combat with Coyote Stark. If you love picking off enemies from a distance, this guy's your perfect partner. The thing with Stark is that he's a little tricky to master, but once you get the hang of him, he's deadly. His ranged ultimate is decent and it's hard for enemies to dodge. If you can keep your distance and manage his moveset well, Starok will become a serious problem for anyone you face. Next, we've got Shinji Hirako, a solid Vizard character who can hold his own in both close and long-range combat. His holification evolution is pretty strong, adding an extra layer of power to his already balanced moveset. Whether you're in the thick of things or trying to keep a safe distance, Shinji has you covered. Plus, he has 2 signature moves that really make him stand out. If you're into that hybrid playstyle, he's a solid choice. Then there's Uryu Ishida, the Quincy with one heck of a ranged arsenal. If you're all about sniping your enemies from a distance, Uryu's got you. He can absolutely rain down attacks and make it almost impossible for anyone to get close. His ultimate? Decently strong, and the best part? He's so easy to pick up for beginners. If you want something straightforward yet effective, Uryu's your guy. Byakuya Kuchiki, a character with style and power. Byakuya has one of the most unique movesets in the game. He's got both close and ranged attacks, and his combos are a breeze to pull off. You're not just dealing decent damage, you're laying out some serious hits. Once his Bankai evolution kicks in though, it's game over for anyone who isn't prepared. That's when Byakuya really shows his true strength. Renji Abarai is next, and let me tell you, his Bankai evolution is one of the best. Super armor? Yes, please, that evolution alone makes him a threat. His moveset is balanced, and his range is pretty solid too. Plus, he's just easy to use. For a character who's got strong offense and a handy Bankai state, Renji is a great choice for anyone who wants to dominate without overcomplicating things. And then, we've got Jin Ichimaru. This guy can hit like a truck. His signature move is one of the highest damaging ones in the game, and his ultimate is equally terrifying. But here's the catch. It's going to take some time to get used to him. Once you do though, Jin becomes an absolute force. He's got an excellent mix of long range and close range attacks, making him a versatile fighter. Master him, and you'll find that Gin's a lot of fun to play with. So, to wrap it up, if you're looking to climb the ranks in Bleach Rebirth of Souls, these A-tier characters are the ones you want in your team. Each of them brings something unique to the table, whether it's high damage, balance, or insane range. They might take a bit of time to master, but once you do, you'll be an unstoppable force. Get out there, start leveling up, and see what these legends can really do. The characters in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Ichigo Kurosaki, Final Getsuga Tensho, Ichigo Kurosaki Bankai, Holification, Ulquiorra Cypher, Sosuke Aizen, Yoruichi Shihoin, and Enoitra Gilga. Let's talk about some of the absolute top tier characters in Bleach Rebirth of Souls. So Souls, if you want to dominate your opponents and leave them scratching their heads, these are the characters you need to master. Trust me, each one of them is a beast in their own right. So grab your controller and let's dive into the insanity that is the top tier lineup. First up, we've got Ichigo Kurosaki in his Final Getsuga Tensho form. Now, this guy is not just a fan favorite, he's an absolute powerhouse in Rebirth of Souls. His moveset is as complex as it is devastating. From insane combos to that one-shotting ultimate skill, if you can pull off his full potential, you'll be sweeping the floor with your enemies. He's got the perfect balance of short and long range attacks, making him a threat no matter where the fight takes you. It's all about landing those combos and making sure your enemy has no chance to react. Just keep an eye on your timing and you'll be unstoppable. But wait, Ichigo doesn't stop there. Let's talk about his Bankai Holification form. This version of him is a bit of a different beast. His combos are way easier to pull off, so you're looking at someone who can easily chain attacks and keep the pressure on. Plus, he has a double awakening. The first one's powerful enough, but when you hit the second stage, it's game over. His ultimate attacks also have huge hitboxes, meaning they deal massive damage and can hit multiple enemies at once. So if you want a balance of power and ease of use, this form is absolutely worth learning. Next on the list is Ulquiorra Cypher, and let me tell you, this holo is a monster. At first, his moveset might seem balanced, with his quick close-range combos and devastating long-range zero attacks. But then, you realize there's something much deeper going on. Ulquiorra has a steep learning curve, but if you can master him, he becomes a total game changer. His second awakening makes him borderline OP, and once you unlock that, you'll be absolutely wrecking anyone who dares stand in your way. He's not for beginners, but trust me, if you put the work in, the reward is huge. And now we move on to Sosuke Aizen. This guy, where do I even start? Aizen's got one of the best ultimate skills in the entire game, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. His guard and break skills are on another level, and when it comes to combos, he's got some seriously solid options. What really makes Aizen stand out though is his unique awakening. It's a perfect blend of damage and range, which makes him an absolute terror in the right hands. If you want someone who's just as dangerous up close as they are from a distance, Aizen's your guy. Now if you're looking for speed, look no further than Yoruichi Shihoin. This Soul Reaper is insanely fast and she's got a ton of Shunpo moves to back it up. The thing that makes Yoruichi so dangerous is her ability to blitz through enemies, dodging attacks left and right while never slowing down. The speed she brings to the table is insane, and if you can master her movements, you'll be untouchable. She does require some skill to use effectively, but once you get the hang of her, you'll realize she's one of the most rewarding characters in the game. And then we have Noitra Gilga, a holo that's all about power. This guy comes at you fast and hard with quick, heavy attacks that deliver some of the highest DPS in the game. His combos are a thing of beauty, and when you hit that ultimate move, you'll see the destruction unfold in front of your eyes. Noitra is incredibly easy to pick up, so even if you're just starting out, you can jump right in and start dominating. His range is solid, and he's pretty easy to master, which makes him a great pick for anyone looking to pack a punch without having to get too technical. But it's not all about power. Some characters, like Ulquiorra, take a little bit of patience to truly shine. He may not have the easiest moveset to get down, but once you master his complex skills, you'll find yourself pulling off devastating combos and dodging attacks left and right. He's the kind of character who rewards practice, and the payoff is definitely worth it. One of the best things about Aizen is his versatility. Whether you want to play a defensive game, keeping your enemies at bay with his guard and break skills, or you prefer going on the offensive, dealing massive damage with his ultimate, Aizen can do it all. His ability to adapt to different playstyles makes him a fantastic choice for any situation. Plus, his awakening just adds another layer of dominance to his already strong kit. And don't even get me started on Yoruichi. Once you get used to her crazy speed, you'll realize how good she is at controlling the pace of the match. She can literally make opponents feel like they're stuck in slow motion while she moves at lightning speed. Her Shunpo is perfect for dodging any attack and instantly closing the gap between you and your enemy. If you're someone who likes to be unpredictable and outmaneuver your foes, Yoruichi is your perfect pick. What I really love about Noitra is his aggressive playstyle. This guy is all about power and punishing mistakes. If you're looking for a character who can dish out damage without hesitation, Noitra is a great choice. His combos are fast and his ultimate is a real game changer. There's something satisfying about just slamming through your opponent with overwhelming force, and Noitra makes it incredibly fun. At the end of the day, each of these characters brings something unique to the table. Whether you're all about precision, speed, or raw power, there's a top tier character for you in BLEACH Rebirth of Souls. The trick is figuring out which one suits your playstyle best and mastering their moves to perfection. No matter which character you choose, you're guaranteed to have a blast as you climb the ranks and leave your enemies in the dust. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.